We'll build this together, any type of weather. Unity is key. Keeping first G-O-D. We will conquer the world. Baby, just you and me. I can vision us now. One big happy family.
Hey guys, I'm Toy Walker.
I'm Lonnie Walker.
And welcome to Way of the Walkers. So, today, babe, we're doing something special with some special people, right?
That's right. So today we got some special guests with us. We have Courtney and Jason with us.
Yes.
The Buoys. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yes.
Thank you. Oof, I was worried because, he messing names up.
Yes, he does.
And so we're going to dig into marriage life and partnership.
Yes. Today's topic is partnering with your partner. And we spoke to you guys. Well, I just want to say hello. Good morning, you guys. Thank you for coming on to our podcast.
We're excited.
Kosher. You look like I don't know,
well,
like
here we go.
All right, something that we don't know if you want to share. So we were talking to you guys about your relationship, and it was very interesting to me, especially the way it began. Right? We love telling our relationship stories, so romantical. Y'all's is a little different. Right? So why don't you tell the people about how you guys met?
You want to tell it? You want me to tell it?
I'll tell the truth.
Okay.
Okay. She's about to lie.
His side is not quite right. So we were introduced at a Christian event that happens every Monday. It was every Monday after school in the evening, and he walked up to me with another friend of ours. The other guy actually liked me, from what I understand, and he introduced me. This is Jason. I was like, okay. Like, why are you telling me that? Okay. And I went on about my day, but then a week later, so I saw him at school, and I said, "Hey, you're that guy. Come on, let's walk me to class." And he was looking like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So we walked to class, and as soon as we got to class, I tore off a part of my binder, or what is it,
Book cover,
and handed it to him. I was like, "Call me today."
Okay.
Aggressive.
Okay.
Well, because back in the day, you had to wait a day.
And I didn't want him
That's
to wait.
right.
You gotta wait a day. You don't just do it immediately. I ain't that thirsty. I like you, but I gotta make you wait a little bit.
But he called as instructed.
And
And we talked. That was going to like Christmas break. We talked every day.
mm-hmm.
Like she taught me how to sneak on the phone at night.
I did.
She was like,
Oh,
hey,
she taught you.
Oh, yeah. She was like, hey, just turn everything down and go get the phone out your mom and daddy room.
I don't like noise, so I'm just like, don't wake anybody else up. Be quiet.
And we would talk to like 3, 4, 5 in the morning. And then after Christmas break, it was like, all right, cool, back to normal.
What does back to normal mean?
Like, all right, when I see you, I see you.
So it's like, what's up in the hallway?
Yeah, like we was cordial, you know what I'm saying? And like
So
we
wait. So y'all talk every day of
Yeah.
break. Y'all didn't go see each other. Y'all just
No.
talk.
No, we end up seeing each other one time at the mall on accident.
Oh, on accident, yeah.
So y'all talking on the phone. So y'all undercover relationship, and then y'all broke up when school started.
It's not
back.
even
It technically, if you want to call, it was like a middle school
It was just friends.
situationship.
It was.
Okay.
Because she bought me a Christmas gift and I bought her a Christmas gift.
But it wasn't like
But it
a
wasn't
romantic
like-
Christmas gift.
No.
It was like
Yeah.
a book or something.
Man, I got her a Tweety Bird shirt
Tweety Bird shirt.
from the Looney Tunes store. No, the Warner Brothers store in the mall back in the day.
Right.
What's wrong?
And she got me like this blue Tommy Hilfiger t-shirt.
Oh,
was
that's
it
why
back
that
in the
Tweety
day.
was terrible. Because she got you Tommy Hilfiger.
No, well, I didn't know what she got me. But at the time, Tweety was fire.
That's true.
Right.
That's
Not
true.
Tommy
It
Hilfiger.
was.
She still got the
But
shirt.
it wasn't on that level.
She loved Tommy Hilfiger, though.
Yeah.
So that's the difference.
So y'all had benign gifts,
Mhm.
but it's such a chemistry on the phone, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then what
Definitely.
happened after that?
I think, first of all, she went to camp. A little student venture. They had a trip that they do before school start. And so some little boy got her attention. But other than that, we just came back and it was just like, okay. So like Courtney was kind of different. Courtney, like she do what she wanted and she had to work. She was like, okay. So it wasn't like it wasn't an issue. It was just like, okay, we see you in the city. Because like track season started for me. And then whatever she was doing in her life. So it was just like, Sports is sports. It's important. I see you when I see you.
So when did it start to get more serious?
This is after.
This had to be after high school.
After
I
high
think we knew we liked each other somewhat, but she didn't like. She knew I was a church kid, which is wild to me. So she held that against me. But she was a church girl as well.
Right.
The
But
only-
she know about church boys then.
Right.
Well,
Because
no,
a lot of times they act like they sanctified and holy, but they ain't
I
the
was
truth.
very
You were good.
consistent.
Yeah, you was consistent.
I really was good. Like, you know what I mean? The only difference is my papa was actually a pastor. Her grandmother was like, she wasn't a pastor, but she might as well have made her assistant pastor at that church. Because they ran that church. But it was just, she didn't want no church kid.
So what changed your mind?
Time.
Time.
Yeah.
How much time?
Just
Because that's
time.
what was interesting to me. Because y'all started off in junior high,
Right.
liking each other, but not really pursuing
Right.
each other. And then how long was that gap?
So it was in ninth grade that we initiated something. It probably went into her junior year
I was gonna say junior year of
of
college.
college
Wow.
when we
that she
connected and
started,
talked
that we
a
started
little
actually
more.
like
Okay, let's
having a
see
little
about
bit
this.
different
Yeah.
level of conversation.
So that's like 6-7 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she tried to friend zone me.
Yeah. He just.
She always
Did not wanna
she always
stay
wanted to tell me
there.
about some stuff. And she would test me. Yeah, I'm talking to this new guy. I'm like, Courtney, I don't
I
care.
would tell him all kind of stuff.
I don't
He
care. What are we
just-
talking about
it
here,
just
bro?
rolled off.
How's your day?
Okay. Move on.
Like, I kept it consistent, like with her. Like, you know what I want. You know I want you. I'm respectful about it. I ain't gonna be aggressive, but I don't care nothing about none of them other cats you talking to.
Yeah.
So you always knew that you wanted her.
Facts.
He did.
Okay. Okay. So what was up with you,
I
Courtney?
wasn't concerned at the time. That's
Were
the
you
only way I can
comfortable?
put it. I was comfortable with you.
With
You
him,
were a good
with
guy.
you knowing that he wanted you. You were
Yes.
comfortable. Okay.
That's fine.
I was like an insurance policy for her.
Yeah, you were like, good. Hold him on the side.
You know, that's what a lot of dudes do. You with this
Mhm.
stress, okay?
Well, let's be very clear. I didn't wait. I gave her attention, but I never waited.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
You had your own little people on the side.
A squad.
Oh,
He says he
a
a squad.
squad.
No, let me tell you.
Okay. Like I said, church
Okay.
boy.
I was a
okay.
church boy, but it got to the point I was like, you know what? I'm 20-something years old. I'm about to go out here and live.
Wow.
So like from 18 to 24, whether it was college or afterward, I clubbed every weekend.
Wow.
And at some point, me and my friends even got into fights. Like I would tell her, like,
Yeah,
yeah, we
you
got to
told
the
me.
fights. A couple cats had to knock them out. Like just crazy stuff. And so I was just out here. And what's funny is we wasn't starting no trouble. But I was just like living life. And it was right when I was like, you know what? Forget it. I might just be a player.
Wow.
And I was building a roster, y'all.
Oh, here you
A
go.
roster. And then all of a sudden, out the blue,
I called.
this one wants to call.
Really?
And like, she randomly
I
called me
said,
one
hey,
day.
be quiet. I need to just talk to you.
No, that's not even that yet. This was still even in college when he was like, can you take care of me?
Mm.
Oh, correct.
If we get together, can you take care of me? And I was like, yeah,
I
Without
needed that
hesitation.
assurance.
without
Yeah.
hesitation. And then after that, like we hung out a couple times or whatever, and we still talked. But it wasn't until after college that I think it got serious for her. Like I would be working out at the gym and she would come, hey, I'm getting off work, you wanna go eat?
Right.
And I'd be like, hey, we gotta wrap this up. I got to go eat with Courtney or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And we just started linking up, hanging out, whatever, and it still wasn't time yet.
And y'all knew that both of you guys have an understanding that y'all were, I don't know if meant to be, but you had to understand there was an attraction and
something
that
there.
you wanted to be in a relationship, but it wasn't time.
Right.
Was it because you were still doing your thing, and it's because were you still doing your thing?
No, what's funny is it had to be her wanting to know if that's, I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
So at any point, I could have broke off whatever it was with anybody. I knew what I wanted. There wasn't no hesitation. But at the same time, I just trusted that if it is to be, it's going to happen. If it ain't, then God is on you.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like I was like I said, I wasn't waiting,
Yeah.
Right.
but I made my intentions very clear that it's you I want. I trusted her character, her being. I knew that she was raised from a good family. And those type of things for me were more important than if she had the biggest butt or if she was the nastiest ones that we went to school with. It was just like I knew that with her, she would make me better because she was consistent regardless of what. In high school, college, I never heard nothing about Courtney being out here in the streets.
So you appreciated that she was going to challenge you to become better.
Absolutely.
That's something you usually don't hear from men.
Well, I think the difference is, like, so my parents are still married.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, 38 now. So I think they've been married 40 years.
Wow.
My grandparents were married all the way up until they passed away. My grandparents on my dad's side all married. So I came from a marriage background, which is crazy because my dad had a stepfather. But he raised him like he was his own. So for me, all I saw was relationships. I maybe saw 1 or 2 divorces in my lifetime through my family, but everything else was family. And I saw some things that happened in the house with my parents where I saw them fight through some stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's something, like they said, it's some things you be taught, some things that to be caught.
Absolutely.
And so it's just her spirit. Now I know it was something inside of me that was like, no, it's her spirit I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was, but now I'm like, now I can go back in 9th grade, so I knew she was supposed to be my wife.
Wow.
Right.
So what you were going to be able to be as a wife to him was attractive to him. Did you feel the same way about him?
Yes.
Yes.
I think the story would be the same. Yeah, I saw that early on. The relationship that we had as far as communicating and things you talked about, I could see the future. Like, this could work. This is on the level that I've been raised on and that I would want for myself. So, yeah.
And that's beautiful because you don't really hear that. That's something that we talk about. He talks about when we first met that he was attracted to my spirit, among other things.
So, we won't go really deep into that. But really, when I saw her, it was something. And immediately, the story I tell is when I initially met her face to face, I didn't speak to her because it was something that I had never experienced before. I didn't know what that was, and I didn't want to mess it up in that moment.
Wow.
And so I knew my mouth was slick, and I would say anything. So I was like, don't say nothing. I said, hello, my name Lonnie. I went on mute, and then when we got ready to leave her house, because I went with my friend, I said, I'll call you when I get home. I did real good on the phone.
Right.
I real did good, and I was like, no. But it was something I had never experienced before. And then it goes into a fear of, how am I going to keep her? Because I knew who I was at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're fast forwarding to you guys finally get together. You get married, and something that we were speaking on was how within a marriage there is a certain partnership that has to happen. And you guys already understood that because you spoke about how he would help you be better as a person, as a wife, as a woman, and she would help you be better as a person, as a husband, as a man. And so, how did that look in your marriage?
I would say really just being patient and learning one another first. It was just getting through each situation. How are we going to make this? I don't know.
So what's funny is, so right next door to this room is an office, Primerica. And when we were dating, we started doing Primerica. We ended up sitting with her cousin. She was just getting into it, and the vice president. And he sat down and talked to us about life insurance.
Okay.
And something in me was like, why everybody don't know about this? So we got into Primerica. We started getting real good. And I was driving trucks at the time because I knew I wanted to be married to her. I changed my career. I was working in the call center. Once we made it official, I started driving 18-wheelers just to get something figured out. But in that company, they taught us partnership. Like, I saw husband and wives working together. And for some reason, a lot of them, even if I wasn't on that part of the organization, navigated towards us.
Right.
So they took us in, like they would invite us to their house to have dinner, and they spent time with us. And they spent more time talking to us about partnership than it was the business.
That's good.
And so they really we had what we needed as far as a upbringing, but they really poured into us as far as self-improvement, development, but really loving your partner and working with your partner. And so I think those traits never left us because we got married and 2 months later we were pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Right.
And so imagine we get pregnant. I just got married. Right before the baby is born, I answered my call to the ministry, preached my first sermon. So I'm learning how to be a husband, a father, a minister, an entrepreneur, all while trying to really just figure us out.
In a new marriage.
In
Right,
a
very
new
good.
marriage.
Right. That's hard enough.
And-
One of
One
those
was
things is
enough.
hard enough, but just being a newlywed and trying to learn how to partner with each other is really difficult. I know when you hear partner with your partner or with your spouse, a lot of people think of entrepreneurship. Being in a relationship when it comes to business. But I understand and we understand that to be successful in all aspects of what you go and pursue as a couple, you have to have a partnership here first. That foundation matters most. And I think that is something that we've learned how to do well. Like you said, you had to sit at someone's feet to learn that and then walk through it. That's something that we had to go through. We really didn't have a lot of people. We're opposite from you guys.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of divorce. A lot of not getting married and breaking up and
not to
having
say baby
kids.
mama
Yeah.
situations.
So we didn't really have that. We had one couple, my aunt and uncle, that we looked up to. They're still married to this day, and we still look up to them. But outside of that, we really didn't have that. So we just had to kind of figure it out ourselves and thug it out.
Right.
We like to talk. If you want to be married, you need to be a thug because you got some. You
gotta
gotta
fight.
hold
You have to
that
fight.
10 toes down, right?
But we did, like, we had discussions before we got married. Like, we ain't trying to, this is a one and done. We not trying to be a divorce. If we gonna do this, we in this thing. So we knew, even though we didn't see it, we knew what we wanted. And what she says all the time is, I took a job on the road, and she said that helped. That helped a lot of things. I guess you could say we really appreciate the time that we spend together. Even now that I'm off the road, but I used to be gone so much. When I was home, we really didn't have time to be having these little petty arguments and fussing, because it's like, well, he may only be here 30 days. We can't be fussing 20 of them. So we made a conscious effort to try to put our best foot forward. Well, she did the emotional intelligence way better than me at that time because I was dealing with some other stuff. But as we grown together, and then now that we off the road, we're really intentional about our partnership, us communicating about everything that we do and being together, because that's how we stay together.
Yeah, and that's how we always envisioned our lives. It wasn't what happened initially, but thankfully now we are able to really have relation with each other, partnering with each other, in all aspects. Because before, I would have to kind of run the house without him because he would be gone for so long. When he came home, I had to have it run in a certain way so I could function, right? And so the kids will be well, because we didn't know when he was gone and how long he was going to be gone. So I wouldn't say it was easy for him to come home and us not get into it. It was definitely something that you had to be mindful of, because of course things came up, and usually face-to-face is how you want to interact with your spouse.
Absolutely.
And some of the things that we couldn't interact by doing it face-to-face, it had to be put on the back burner because we felt like it was more important to cherish the time that we were together.
Right.
Then every time we come home, it's like, well, what do you know? I said so. So, what are some of the techniques that you guys have used, especially if we go back to what you said? You were a dad, or about to be a dad. You started ministry. You are a husband. You were a new wife.
Right.
First time being pregnant, right?
Mhm.
And oh my gosh, you're about to be a mom. How did you guys navigate those uncertain waters? Because usually change is what makes us the most fearful, right?
Right.
Right. So tell us about that.
I thought she was going crazy.
Yeah. The emotions were on
Because I was like, what is wrong
10.
with you? Like, so if you know my wife, she's not very emotional.
right at all.
So for her to be fussy and crying and fussing, I was like,
Everything was setting me off.
I was
Wow.
like, no, something ain't right.
Right. That's what we found
Something
out.
ain't right. And I looked at her, I was like, no, we got to figure something out because you ain't acting like you.
Right, myself at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
And when we found out she was pregnant, it all made sense.
You were like, oh, okay.
Thank
It's a
you.
reason.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
Now we
not
know it's good
crazy.
to know.
It all made sense. But it was a system. I think somehow in that moment, it was a frustrating time. Because I was an entrepreneur. So if you ain't set on life insurance or investments, you ain't making no money.
You got to hustle.
Right.
And so I was hustling. But at some point, like I ended up getting into this funk.
Mm.
And I think I was overthinking, trying to take care of us. She was working, you know what I mean? I'm hustling. And so money became an issue.
So did you overthink yourself into depression and anxiety?
I think I overthought myself trying to overcompensate my skill set.
Tell me more about that.
So when I sat at a table, I was very confident in what I did. And I closed probably 7 to 8 out of every 10 conversations I sat down with because I was very, very specific in how I presented the thing. That's when I realized I had a way with words and not really manipulation, but understanding if you die
Charisma.
today,
Yeah.
this is the reality. I was taught if they don't buy the dream, sell them the nightmare.
Mm.
And sometimes us don't buy the dream. So now I gotta tell you, so this was about to happen. This don't happen. You die, your wife gonna find a dude, he gonna beat her, not take care of your kids. These are the type of things that happen when you don't. These type of things that can happen when you don't have money.
Yeah.
When you leave your family without your income,
Yeah.
da 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 da, and that worked because it was the truth. Because I used to always say, and I got this from my mentors, my policy is set up to where if she die, she ain't gotta go try to find a man to take care of the house.
Right,
she good.
right.
She got time to figure it out. And so for me, it was like, I'm over here putting this pressure on other men to take care of their families, and me recognizing I'm about to have one.
So all those fears that you were sowing into those other people, you started to be like, wait a minute, that is
It's
where
about
I'm
to be
about
me.
to be. I'm about to be a father.
And so I wanted to set up their future.
Yeah.
And you know how people, if sales will tell you, you can smell when somebody need to sell. You can smell when somebody need to make some money. Like, so even my game was off, like just how I spoke. Because it wasn't, like I said, I wasn't tricking nobody. I just got to the point where I think I started overthinking things. Like, we got to the point where we would literally store up on pancake mix, sugar, and Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that was the meal.
That if something happened and we didn't have enough money for the next week, we would eat pancakes and make Kool-Aid.
Wow.
That was our go-to in the event. We ain't got enough money. We're going to eat some pancakes, so we're going to be full, and we're going to have some flavor.
Wow.
And if we went on camp, we had like the little filtered water jug. But I remember being at the grocery store, and I wanted to get some Fruit Loops.
Yeah.
And Courtney said, we can't afford this. We can't afford to get enough food. Da, 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 da. And I was like, and that made me feel so small.
Right.
And my mind turned. My mind turned. I immediately went to this mode where I shook out of it. And I started digging myself out this hole and things of that nature, but I also recognized, bro, you might need to consider getting a job, and it's okay.
Right.
So for the first few months of Ryan being here on the earth, that's my oldest, I would take her to meetings. I would take her to interviews. I would take her to client stuff. Like it was me and her. So I'm kind of like Will Smith.
Yeah.
Like she went everywhere with me. Like we didn't have daycare because we couldn't afford it.
Right.
And so, bam, I did this, and we found out like a part-time job, whatever. And fast forwarded. A few months later, we found out we were pregnant again.
Lord have mercy.
How did it happen?
Well, you know, how the first time it happened, just had a good sale. Like, you know, what's up, man? What's up?
That is sexy though.
We just made $1,000 a day. You know what I'm saying? And so fast forward, my two kids, oldest two kids, are 14 months apart.
Oh.
And so imagine us being excited to have a kid, but also like, no.
Yeah.
So that's when I just started making decisions to say, you know what? I know what I want to be in this business, because I was climbing up the ladder, and I was on pace to get my own office, which meant my commission would have been, I was making 60%, would have been 95%. Like, that's a game changer or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, at what cost? So I started working at the post office, and luckily I did, because once I started working at the post office, she got laid off.
Right.
So during the time that he was going through his overthinking, overcompensating his skill set, I think is what you said. Did you see that there was a cloud over him? Did you notice that there was something off?
Yes, definitely. I could feel that every day.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what you're doing. You have a skill set. You have a gift. You know, use it. Get into it.
Right.
You know, I don't know why you're holding back or what's going on. I wasn't quite sure. But I think after the grocery store incident, I was like, he instantly changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he was going through that, you went to help by understanding your partner
Definitely.
and being able to speak into what he really needed. But you had to do that because you had to know him, right?
Absolutely.
Because sometimes when we offer encouragement and it's not hitting right, it just turns into frustration, irritation.
A whole nother animal. Yeah.
Yeah. So you find out you're pregnant with your second child after he came home with being like, okay, come here. Okay. So what was going through your mind when that happened?
Really, I'm excited.
Okay.
Like, this is okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be okay. It's a good thing. That was all I could really think.
And then you lose your job.
Yes.
Okay.
Totally unexpected.
So tell us about that.
Really, finding out you're laid off, but knowing that he has something, you know, on his own to make money. I was like, okay, we're in a good place. It's okay. Things happen, but we'll get through it, you know, and I'll find something more. Being in HR, everybody has HR, so I'll be able to find something. And I did. But during that time, I was a little like,
yeah.
It was a little uneasy feeling, but still knowing, you know, faith in God, I know we'll make it through. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you help her through that when she lost her job?
Man, I got to give a big shout out to my parents. My parents held us down. We ended up moving back home. And how that even got triggered was I had just left the house and somebody broke into our apartment. And so imagine as a father or as a husband, I'm sitting there like, I don't even feel safe right now.
Right.
So we moved back home. But then we moved back they gave us a new apartment, But after that, I was like, hey, let's just take a beat. Moved back with my parents. And what was supposed to be a few months turned into a few years. Because we didn't expect her to get laid off. We didn't expect all these things to happen. And I was just like, when she got laid off, I just went to grind mode. I knew what to do. I was working at the post office. As much as I hated that job, some days, I knew how to work it out. I knew when to get overtime. I knew how to get off early. Like, I worked the post office to the fullest. I knew how to get my money still. Like, there was times where, like, I still had a commitment to sing. I would go to work extra early, work extra fast to get off so I could go take care of that. And then sometimes Sunday mornings I was doing the same thing to make sure we was good. I'm getting the money. I'm doing it all. We gonna figure it out. They can't struggle. Breaking up my mama and them, she was making sure the house was clean. My mom's dinner was good. Like we were good people to have. Like we didn't get on their nerves. We kept the kids upstairs. Like it was as if it was like an apartment upstairs because we didn't bother them. So we tried to respect their space. But she never made me feel like less than a man. So as long as she kept pushing me, I never felt like I couldn't do anything. So it was just a matter of time. Like I've been through this before. It took me time, but I got you. Now it's like it's time to get to the next step. Time and push. And so through that time, I end up going for the post office, and I got an opportunity to go do mortgages. My background was financial services at that point.
Right.
Did mortgages, started kicking butt in that. She started finding, that's when the other job came through.
Right.
And that paid her way more than her last job. So, okay, we rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
And then the third baby came.
Oh my gosh. Y'all just,
But
when y'all
mind you-
start rocking and rolling, y'all
But
start
mind you,
rocking and rolling.
we still at my parents' house.
Oh
Right.
my goodness.
So there's a 5-year gap between Jason
Deuce, yeah.
and Riley. And so now that's happening. But all the stuff I learned from Primerica, all the little stuff I endured with the post office, I started getting into this
What's this?
media, photography,
Yeah,
videography,
yeah.
while I was still doing mortgages. Because I was like, every mortgage broker or mortgage person I knew was trying to chase down realtors to get deals. I hated that feeling. I said, what if I present the realtors I want to work with and say, hey, I got a deal for you? And then I started creating content for myself with my cell phone, started learning how to edit and everything. And then it was my turn to get laid off.
Right.
And I remember I got laid off. And when I was cleaning up my desk, I made a phone call. And I said, listen, I need to talk to you, one of my mentors. And I said, so I'm getting laid off. And I could go to another mortgage company. But I had just got the camera 2 weeks ago. So I got this camera, and I think I can make it. And he told me, over-deliver, under-promise. But I've been seeing you, so go get it. And how I got the cameras was my 2 barbers invested in me. They gave me the money to get my first cameras. And after that, I think that was Christmas. It was right in November I got laid off. We ended up having the best Christmas we've ever had up to that point.
Wow.
And my mom had a conversation with me. She said, Jason, she said, you know I love y'all. She said, but I need you to go fly. I need you to go find out how strong you are. I know how strong you are, but I need your kids to see how strong you are.
That's good.
And we moved. We got an apartment. And it wasn't, I didn't get the apartment based on her income. I got the apartment based on what I think I could produce. Mind you, Christmas Eve, or the 2 nights before Christmas, I got T-boned. But they said it was my fault. God worked it all out. So I'm no car, but I'm Ubering to gigs. That's why I learned how to raise my prices. Ubering to gigs, went to court. They threw the case out because it was a matter of their construction issue. So I saw 2 red lights. And so when I saw one turn green, it looked like it was my light. And then boom, got hit. And God got that thrown out. So we started doing that. And then my dad gave me a car. So I started turning up even more. And so I remember she texted me one day. It was a long text. I wish I could find it. And she was like, tell her what you texted me.
Tell us.
Really what I said earlier, but it was really long. It was like, we've been through this, and this. And I know that you are capable of being great. You know, it's always something more to give. And I know that you have it in you. So go out there and, win for us and just do it, I was like, I don't want to, be in a place where we can't thrive and we're not thriving. And he went out there and did exactly what I asked him to. You delivered.
That's beautiful. I love it. You have anything to add to that, baby?
It's interesting, the encouragement and the push. And the encouragement and the push wasn't, you need to take care of me like you promised. It was I know you can do this, so go out there and do it. Even the patience the way that you handled the Fruit Loop situation, because I was thinking about that if I went somewhere, and I remember when we first started having children, and I call it Similac Gate. Yes. So when Lillian was born, our oldest, she was allergic. She was allergic to breast milk. So we ain't had no choice. And that Similac bill, bruh.
I know.
It was like,
oh my
it was like $1,200 a month.
I know.
Which was more than our mortgage. It was the most expensive bill.
Right.
But that's not, we had to have a Similac. And so we had to do that. And at that time, I probably was making 60,000. So you just know that's just destroying a budget.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not including groceries and all the
Right.
other stuff. But we had to grind that thing out and almost in silence because she'd be like, babe, I need. And, you might be like, well, we can't do that. I was like, no, I'm not going to say that. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Now it's like we're having conversations about what was going on then. One of the things that we discussed was I used to be excited about leaving to go to work. And she didn't understand that. She's like, you leaving us. No, I was excited to leave because I wanted to take care of y'all. And I knew I'll get this extra money when I'm gone. And she would say, this was funny. So I'd be excited to leave. I would leave. The day I would arrive wherever I drove to, I'd be like, I'm going to be back home in 20 days. And I start counting the days back. But just the whisper of like, hey, we can't afford that. And it's the way that you gently pushed him instead of aggression.
Yeah.
And he was able to respond to that. It's like, I got to get this done. I think that's crazy.
Yeah, that's wisdom.
Right.
Because I keep going back to partner with your partner. The process is knowing your partner.
Absolutely.
And you know how to talk to him. You know how to motivate him. You knew coming and sucking your teeth and rolling your eyes was not going to
get what I need accomplished. Yeah.
Right. And he
I'm
fell
too
in
petty for
love.
that.
Yeah.
I'm too petty
Oh,
for that.
we know. And we know he was attracted to your soft spirit. So
Yeah.
that is what is going to encourage him, your soft
Right.
spirit. And I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So for married couples, what advice would you give to them about learning how to really partner with your partner? Not when it comes to business, although that's a good thing. I'm meaning the foundational things that really matter that you build your pillar of marriage on. Give us some information about what you would advise other couples.
I would say friendship first.
Okay.
Because that's how we started, being friends, nothing too heavy, just be genuine friends and loving and caring of one another. And then, of course, having the foundation already for us was Christ,
Yes.
and family. So really just family and our faith. And I would say communication as well. I'm sure everybody says communication, but that's key, in any relationship. So learning how to speak to one another and we'll set each other off and how we can be better for the other person.
Yeah, one of the things I'd never forget is why I wanted to marry her. So I can still see in my head, what's today's date, the 10th? When did I propose to you?
August 28th.
Okay, yeah, it was this month. I remember, I still see how all of they played out. I remember I talked to her parents and everything like that. But I tell everybody, I remember why I wanted to marry her. So there's nothing she could do to make me not go back to that thought. So that's one for me. And number two, Courtney handles me.
Uh-oh.
So Courtney is not a raw person.
Right.
So when I turned to the Incredible Hulk, she was like, I'll talk to you when you're ready to talk about something.
Okay. Okay.
And so she has made me respect how we communicate.
That's good.
I never argued with her about communication. I knew, even from my counseling, to take that wisdom. And then now it's like, now it's easier to talk. I get my moments where I'm like, but I don't roar. I don't have an issue. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, let's talk. Right. And because of what I realized is, it wasn't just creating a habit for how we dealt with stuff. It was how we communicate with our children when things start to come up. And these kids different. Yelling don't do nothing for these kids. It do for them for a moment, but they come out so hyper intelligent that I immediately now know I have to raise their level of emotional intelligence.
That's right.
Which means my level of emotional intelligence had to go up, even considering me and her.
Right.
And so that was one of the things where I trusted her so much that I couldn't ever go against what she felt, what she see. Even with her discernment, I would like, now sometimes I be like, you gotta give people a chance. She don't like people
No, I know immediately.
like that. You know what I'm saying? She don't like people. So it's even hard for her. It's even hard for her for new couples. Seriously. And so it's like, man, I'm like, they good. And she's like, I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But she's rarely steered me wrong. So I think that's the trust factor. Is I trust her so much. I love her so much. So that's why I won't go out here and mess around. Because I don't want to mess this up.
That's right.
Yeah, it's tempting. Yeah, it's like, oh, she fine. Yes. Y'all probably see somebody y'all attracted to. But at what cost? At what cost? Like, I don't want to throw away the fact that she saw me at my lowest and didn't judge me. When I was at my lowest, she still saw me at my highest.
Right.
She spoke to the king in me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's what a real queen do. But people don't understand the queens really run the kingdom. Yeah, y'all let us be presented in the front, but queens really run the kingdom. And so if a man can't feel strong enough to stand up, knowing that if he was to fall, that she can't handle it all, you got the wrong queen.
That's right.
That's good.
You got to know that if something go down, she's proven to me she can hold the house up.
Right.
Vice versa. So it's just, you got to know who you fighting with.
That's right.
I think a lot of times everybody fighting against each other, or the moment, oh, that's a red flag. Bro, life happening is not a red flag.
That's right.
Getting laid off is not a red flag. Him trying to find himself, whether he in his late 20s or late 30s, is not a red flag. People's lives have contributed to how they respond to things. That's why I'm so glad we got married early.
Right.
Because I didn't have to deal with the fact that she didn't have bad breakups. I didn't have bad breakups. I didn't have these, this girl broke
The
my heart.
trauma of that,
I didn't
yeah.
because that matters. And that's why I feel like they got more single people now. They say it's P in a dating pool.
Yeah.
Because everything to you was a red flag. It wasn't a red flag. It was a flag signifying you need to get stronger to go to the next phase.
That's right.
And so marriage takes work.
Absolutely.
Marriage takes trust. Marriage takes compromise. Marriage takes sacrifice. That sounds like Jesus to me.
That's right. That's right.
That's good.
That's
He only
good.
flipped over tables when they were disrespecting his father. He never flipped over tables with his disciples.
That's good.
He spoke to them. He taught them. He loved on them. And even when he chastised them, it was in private. And so that's what the foundation of marriage is. It's like, hey, when we in the open, it's us. I take care. We can take care of business behind doors. But in the open, no, fam, hey, we right here with it.
That's right. That's right.
We right here with
That's
it.
right.
You come for this one, you come for us.
That's
And
right.
there's an army behind this one.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just,
That's right.
that's the truth. It's just love has to be unconditional. Because if it has conditions, it's not love. It's an agreement.
That's good, Jason.
Love
Keep on,
conquers all.
Pastor.
No, that's just what I saw.
Right.
I saw my parents almost get a divorce, and they were like, no. My dad, no, we're going to work this out.
That's right.
There's things that happen with her family, and they still moving forward. And so I'm like, that's what attracted me to keep going. It's like, we got what's made.
Right.
We got it to be made. Like, we got what it takes to be a couple. And we not out here trying to be couple goals.
Right, right.
We just building our marriage and relationship on us. We ain't comparing ourselves to nobody else.
Right.
The only influence I want is, how do you love your wife?
That's good.
The biggest compliment I give you, I say, I love how Lonnie loves his wife.
Right. Absolutely.
I love a man.
No, facts. Facts. I say, Lonnie gonna stand on business behind his. And I said, that's
right.
what a husband's supposed to do.
That's right. Period.
You're supposed to protect that.
Period.
You're supposed to protect that. She gonna heal your wounds when you get cut by the world.
That's right.
Right? She gonna rub your head when you got a migraine
Yeah.
because you trying to figure it all out. Like,
Yeah.
she gonna make you feel good. Like last night, for example, we come to the karaoke party. You got cash on you? I said, no. She gave me her cash. Didn't need it, but it was just like,
Right.
"Here, I want you to have it. That's partnership.
Yes. And that makes you like, just like,
I'm trying. I can show you the world.
Listen, you said something, so you know, I play chess, and the queen. I know the object is to get the checkmate on the king, but the queen is the most powerful, and it usually set up the checkmate.
Yep.
The king don't end the game. It's usually the queen that set up everything. And that's just how it works. We are the front. We are responsible. We are the head. But we know who's really controlling the things in the background. And that's the thing. A lot of people use relationships, they playing checkers. This is chess. It's strategic. It's wisdom. It's everything. It doesn't have to be a discussion. One of the things that I want to ask you, and this is because we've been 23 years in, so we've been through some things. How do y'all handle when people try to divide y'all or separate?
They don't get to.
Right.
Not even our parents can get into our business. Like, it was something that my mom used to be like, if I was recording, I would have been left a long time ago. You ain't her. Your name Carolyn.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It wasn't, I mean, she just said it a joking way, but words have power.
Right.
And I just said this yesterday. I said, words have power and a destination. It's only waiting on time and maturation for you to have it, whatever it is. And so, because she spoke more love into me, or we saw more love and spoke more love, you can't get in between us.
That's right. That's right.
She got a discernment about friends, women, whatever. No, not that one. And I'm just like, okay,
That's
cool.
right. That's right.
I trust her.
Yeah.
So that's just what it is. You can't, no, because you ain't give me what I want at night. You ain't with us when I gotta take care of the little queen, princess, that think she the queen.
Yeah, you gotta keep telling her she's the princess.
My son, who the middle child, but he might as well be the baby because he the only son.
Right.
And then my oldest daughter, like, no, y'all know what it is. So, like, I have a house full of strong people,
Yeah.
and the house is together because of her. You know what I'm saying? So you can't break this bond up. Like, and I remember being taught a long time ago, like, this is a hard conversation for people to have. But if I had to save my kids or her, I would save her.
That's what he says all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
All the time.
that's the truth. My covenant is with her.
That's right. Period.
My covenant is with her. And if I was to, the kids wouldn't have a fair life if I lost mom.
Oh no.
Because I would be in the most oppressive state, and they couldn't get me out of that. But if we lost the kids and we're still here, gotta make a way.
That's right.
Gotta make a way. So that's the truth.
Something that I'm learning, that I've learned is the Lord's not going to lead you in the wrong way. My wife, especially since I've been off the road, I've only been off the road 6 years, she has been steadfast on our togetherness. And sometimes you can lose focus on that. But she knows what our marriage means, not to other people what it means to us. I tell people all the time, it's not couples goals. You're supposed to be becoming one. So we're supposed to be growing together as one, and that covenant is the example. We the walkers, we together. And even when opportunities present itself that you may think is positive, sometimes all the open doors aren't opened by the Lord. Some opportunity
That's
is
right.
to see. It's
That's
a
right.
test what you're gonna do. And one of the things that I get fussed at all the time about from other people is you run everything by her. Yeah, I trust her discernment really more than mine.
Yep.
Cause I'll be like, ooh. Cause if somebody come to me and like, hey, listen, got this situation, 30 days, make $100,000. I'm gonna perk up. Oh yeah, we gonna get that. I go to her and she'll be like, well, so what exactly is it?
Right,
And I'll be
more
like, oh,
questions.
we're gonna do this, this, and this. And then she'll be like,
No.
It
Right.
seems like y'all.
Let's think
it
through
seem-
this.
It seems like these other people gonna get burned in the situation. Not illegal. Now you gonna get arrested, but when you take your $100,000, some people gonna be left holding something. And she was like, yeah, I don't think we should do that. And I'll be like, well, this is how the business go. And she's like, no, just because that's how the business work, don't mean that we have to be a part of that.
Because it's not always sin, right? But it's more about morality.
Morality and
So
whatnot.
God has bent me that way. Like I know I'm skewed towards righteousness, like doing the right
Right.
thing, and that's not. And I've been called like a goody two shoes and stuff like that because I'm always like, oh my goodness. But I love that he respects me so much that he will come to me, and he values my opinion over others,
Right.
which makes me, like you were like, how does that make you feel when she gave you that money? That is like, because we as women, we are kind of taught that you're supposed to sit in the corner and be quiet and let the man run it. For him to be the head of the house and to take that position like very seriously and walk in it well, he still comes to me and values what I see and when I hear and when I feel. Because like you, I'll be like, nope, you don't need to call that person back. You don't need to go around that person. So it really helps our relationship because when he trusts me, it's easier for me to trust him. You know what I mean? It feels more safe and like the respect is mutual.
And sometimes it's knowing, she know me. I'm from the streets of Detroit. It's a hustle.
What up, though?
Right, what up, though? So people in my family, they gamble, they scheme. Even my grandpa was a stick-up man. So it's not the most morale background. So sometimes, like I was saying, it's not that what I was doing is illegal or wrong. It's just she's like, well, how you gonna leave that person? And that's not what we're trying to do. I'm not trying to get some money or get something, and then this person's not in a good situation. What I'm trying to do is make it to where she wants it to be, where everybody is coming up. Like, now they may not get as much, but we don't want to leave them in a negative situation. And I know how my mind works. And then when the dollars come in, I'm like, man, this $100 grand, we're gonna do this and this. And she'll be like, well, yeah, but you could pass on that. How you? Because he want to make sure that when this $1 million deal that you shouldn't take comes, that you're gonna pass on. This year has been a year of a bunch of opportunities that we passed on. That it's like, but I talked to her and she's like, yeah, that's not it. And then when we find out down the road, it wasn't even what was said. What I was gonna be is I was gonna end up holding something negative in the bag.
That's
so it's been a lot of situations that it's like, Lord, we thought that was an open door, and then He showed us, nope, and it's doors closing, and then you get frustrated. Me as an entrepreneur, I'm like, come on, man, this is supposed to happen. But I understand now with her help, is He testing me? Are you gonna just take this quick hit, or are you gonna wait until I bless you how I really want to bless you? Because there are going to be opportunities, and you're going to have to pass them so you can get to what I need. Because He's saying as you get more exposure, more people that's not right, they're going to put things in front of you. And if you start taking them, next thing you know, you have 3 or 4 bad situations on you.
That's right.
When you can just wait on the one I'm going to bless you with, which is going to open up multiple doors from there.
Yeah, He's got you covered.
That's something that we've been learning. She been steadfast on. She been like, listen, no, this can't be right. The Lord did not do this for that. And I'll be like, but I thought I heard. And then sure enough, I'll get a dream and I'll wake up and like, hey babe, such and such and such and such.
And then Holy Spirit will give me the interpretation. I'm like, that's that. And He's like, oh.
That means this was fake. This person fake. This is this. And be like, oh.
And then it plays out.
Out.
Yeah.
So that's the confirmation.
Right.
Latoya, you're one of my favorite people. I think I told Lonnie this just.
I'm offended.
No, because I love that Lonnie be like, hey, my wife got to tell you something. Like, so, go get what you need. Because it's knowing that outside of her, like, that's a powerful thing about women being able to cover you. You know what I'm saying? And because it don't always look like, back in the day it was like praying women, just that you knew they were prayer warriors. It don't look like that nowadays. Everybody ain't out in the open and huffing and puffing and praying the roof down. You got some people that God really speaks to in the stillness of the night concerning certain people. And I really believe like you guys have been assigned to some type of spiritual protection for me. And I think that sometimes you don't know, you want you want it to come from certain people. But if that was the ideal, then you will idolize the people more than you idolize the word.
Right.
And you gotta have people that'll give you what God said without a filter. And so that's why you two are important, because there has been, even in these last few years, there has been a change in me spiritually, and I'm still struggling to navigate it. And it really got activated after my grandfather died. And a lot of things bother me. I don't say it out loud, but a lot of things bother me. And it's not just a specific thing. I see a lot of things, and I don't even know how to fully, I guess, express it. But to be around people that can see truth and speak truth to power, I really honor you guys. I really honor you guys, and don't lose that gift. Because Lonnie, I appreciate you for sharing that with me. Because you can be like, nah, don't tell that nigga nothing. But you like, nah, Jay, whatever, my wife got a word for you. Like, you need to go hear it. She saw something. I need you to be able to figure that thing out.
Can I say it?
That's good.
I know that God has called us to certain people. And like you said, a lot of people don't see me, like you said, the woman who's huffing and puffing and praying the walls down and just that typical prayer warrior or seer or whatever. But I know that I'm supposed to be his and silent and covered and protected. And when he has me go and speak something, it's so personal, and it means so much to me that you said what you said, because I don't see myself as those women that you talk about, because he made me different, and I don't see myself anywhere. So I question things a lot. But you saying that helps me so much. I'm so thankful for that. And I will tell him, I'm like, well, baby, especially if it's a man, I'll say I have something for him. And he will go. Because a lot of times he'll push me to do it. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
But every time that I've spoken to you, like, that's dead on. That's it. So I know you guys are in our sphere of influence. I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful we passed your test.
Yes.
And so, after go ahead, babe, because I can get it together.
I'll tell you this. I know that part of my mantle for her is to protect her. So I'm not gonna ever I put her in a risk situation. And so if she has a word for someone, I'm gonna make sure it happens. One of the things that a pastor told me, he said, the Lord made you with this aggression and no fear so that you can approach anyone. I remember she had a situation where she needed to talk to somebody, and I went up to the person. I didn't know them at that time. And I was like, hey, my wife needs to talk to you. And I followed this man as he grabbed my hand, walking through this area for like 10, 15 minutes because she needed to talk to him that day. And I was not going to not let it happen. And he told me, he said, you always be that aggressive. That's a gift that he, like, I can approach anybody and speak whatever I need to speak to him. No fear. But I know it's a gift that he gave me. Because sometimes people like, man, you could just walk up to anybody. And I was kind of rough around the edges. Well, I didn't understand that, not the rough around the edges part. It was a gift that I'm comfortable approaching anyone. It doesn't matter who you are, CEO. I'll walk up there and I'll just start chopping it up with you because that's just me.
Right.
Because I'm like, we men or women first. Now, what you did and your success, I respect that, and I respect your mantle. but we man. So it shouldn't be a situation where I'm thinning out to you. It's like, you Jason, I'm Lonnie. I understand you media and all that. That's cool, but when it all said and done, we men. But I respect the mantle. So part of my thing is protecting her and also to push her. I know how powerful she is.
Yes.
I'm with her every day. Like if something happened and I come tell it to her, she's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you know, when you said that sounded real elementary, but when I was telling you it, I was so confused. And so with that, because I know the responsibility that I have, I make sure I lift her up, and which means I have to push her, but I have to push her at her pace. But man, we appreciate just knowing y'all. We're getting to know Courtney better. Of course, we know you very, very well. We appreciate y'all coming on to our podcast. This was amazing.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you guys
Thank
for
you for
having us.
having us. Yeah,
You're so welcome. And we'll probably have you back. How about that?
that'd be great.
So, Jason, tell us where we can find y'all, your
Yeah.
business, all that.
Instagram at JG Bowie, JGBOWIE. My business is called Tri-Media Soul. So at TRI.media, SOL. And
What is your business? Tell them.
so I do all things media, photography, videography, cinematography, live production, podcasting. I mean,
All the
it's
above.
very few things I can't do with a camera.
Yeah.
Right. That
Okay,
right.
Courtney,
You
where we
wanna
can find you.
Drop your stuff.
Sure, it's Courtney with a K, no U, Bowie. Simple as that.
Instagram, and that's
Instagram,
Facebook.
Facebook,
Yeah.
all media avenues.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, if you find what we do here on Way of the Walkers worthwhile, we want you to share it with others who you find worthwhile. And make sure you subscribe to our channel and like this podcast. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
We'll build this together. Any type of weather. Unity is key. Keeping first G-O-D. We will conquer the world. Baby, just you and me. I can vision us now. One big happy family.